Hello, you guys. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Erin. Welcome. Stick around. And if you're returning, thanks for clicking on another video. Today we're going to be getting into a book haul. A lot of books that I've thrifted from my local Goodwill that I want to show you guys. I found some pretty good finds this time around. Sometimes my local Goodwill doesn't have anything, and sometimes it's like the jackpot. So I'll be sharing with you guys today the books that I found when I went thrifting this most recent time. And yeah, I'm really excited about these books, you guys. So if you like book hauls like this, definitely give this a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. I do all types of content here on my channel, including book reviews, talking about books, as well as looking at movies and TV shows. And I also do makeup because that's another one of my favorite things to do. Today I'm actually wearing some new makeup I got from the Sephora VIB sale or spring sale, including this Natasha Denona pastel palette. So these beautiful pastel shades. And I'm also wearing the new Rare Beauty foundation or tinted moisturizer. So yes, I'm excited about just some of the new products I got for makeup wise, but let's get into books today. So without further talking, let's go ahead and hop into the video, and I'm going to show you guys all the books that I got. Now, obviously, when you go thrifting, you're going to, there's a possibility that the books you get are going to be in great condition and a possibility that they're not going to be in great condition. But if you're interested in thrifting for books, I think that's one of the best ways to buy books and pick up things because they're way more affordable than if you buy it new. But of course, everybody likes new books as well. I do as well. I love buying new books. And this year, I haven't bought too many new, like brand new books. One that I pre-ordered that was released this year, but majority of the books I do purchase are, I would say the majority are thrifted. So there's many different sites as well online that you can use if you like to thrift books or you're not close to any like thrift stores that have books. Like for example, thriftbooks.com, discountbooks.com. There's a couple other ones. And there was a couple that I just found recently. If I remember, I'll link them in the description box because I don't remember off the top of my head. A Books maybe, or something like that. World of Books, something like that. There's a couple that I just learned about. But yes, so if you like online thrifting, you can check out those sites as well, or thrifting in general. But from these books in particular, I got these from my local Goodwill. And like I said, sometimes they have good stuff. Last time I went, there was nothing really good in there at all. I barely found anything. This time, I don't know if they got like a lot of donations recently, but there was a lot of books stocked on the shelves and a lot of good picks. So I'm going to share with those. So I picked up quite a few things. I will also say that my last haul video was, alright, let's just hop into it. So the first book I got was Flowers for Algernon. This is a book that, for some reason, I felt like I owned this, but I'm thinking about it, I don't think I have. I'm notorious for buying books that I already own, not on purpose, but just like not thinking that I own them, and then I look on my shelves and there they are. It'd be great if I had some sort of system where I need to do that, write down all the titles that I have. But this one is one I remember reading in high school and really enjoying, and it's by Daniel Keyes. This is pretty much a classic, so I'm pretty sure many of you that are watching, or many people in general, have heard of this one. And it's a kind of a sad story, short story, and I think this was printed in a long time ago, or released a long time ago, published a long time ago. 1959, yeah, so quite an older one. It's about human experiment, basically. They're experimenting on this guy and trying to increase his intelligence, and it goes in a kind of more dark ending at the end, but really good book. I want to reread that one for sure because it's been such a while. The next one I have is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, another one I read this one in my first year of college. I want to say, yeah, first year of college, freshman of college. And One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest by Ken Casey. Really a classic, obviously. Again, I think this one was also published around the 50s or 60s. Yeah, 1963. So quite an older book. And also a really great movie. I think when I was reading this, after I finished, I was like, that was so good. And then I knew that there was a movie, and I knew Jack Nicholson was in it. Never seen it. And I sat my family down. I was like, I just finished this book. Let's watch this movie. I'm kind of a pushy with movies a lot of the times because I read so much. And so I want my family to experience it with me. And so they always tease me that I always pick the movies, which I'm kind of a movie buff. I love learning about movies and seeing about movies and telling them information. But yeah, it can be true. I'm a bit pushy. But this actually was a really great movie as well. Jack Nicholson, of course, always excellent. And our villain here is actually a nurse in the story, so it's got a kind of different vibe. One of the best villains or kind of antagonists characters portrayed ever. And we're following McMurphy as he gets put into this mental institution. Is that the proper term for that? But he's not really, it is not like he really maybe needs to be there, although he has probably experienced some trauma and other things. But yeah, it's not a place that's actually helping people is the point of the story. Really, really good book. I really want to reread that one as well, because it's been quite a few years since I've read that one. Probably even like it's almost 10 years since graduation from high school, so close to that since I've read that. Another one I read in high school. So I got a lot of classic books from the thrift store. I found a lot of good ones, which I'm so happy about. Great Gatsby by Scott Fitzgerald, another classic I'm sure many of us have seen or heard of or read. It's a lot of required reading in many schools across the country, and this one is just a really great story. I actually, though, didn't read. No, did I say I read this in high school? I actually didn't read this in high school. I don't know why I just said that. My sisters read this in high school. I didn't read this one in high school. I actually read this one on my own because my sisters were telling me about it, and we watched the movie when it came out. It was with Leonardo DiCaprio, and I was like, oh, this is like my type of story. And then I read it. So I read it in high school, but it wasn't required reading for me. I guess they didn't do it the year that I was supposed to read it or something. We also moved states, so I don't know if by the time I got here to Georgia, they had already read it in the lower grades. By the time we moved here, I was a junior in high school already. So I never actually got the opportunity to read this one in high school as required reading. But published in 1925, it's a classic story, and we're following all these different characters. We're following Gatsby, which is the title character basically, and all of this a lot of like classist type of conversations in here, stuff like that. But yeah, so I remember liking this when I read it, and also really loving the movies, and actually went after watching the remake, went and watched the older one as well in high school, and I like both of them. And that was just because my sisters had already seen the older movie as well in school. And again, I must have missed that whole era when this was required reading. I don't know. But yes, so that one. And then the next one I have is one by Michael, I don't know how to say his last name, Crichton. That sounds right. Michael Crichton. I've heard a lot about this author. I think he did Jurassic Park. Is that correct? Yes. It says, yeah. So this says, as entertaining as anything he has written since Jurassic Park. So I know he does like a lot of sci-fi books, and I was looking for Jurassic Park when I was there, but they didn't have that. They had quite a few of his books though, and so I was kind of just trying to decide which one I wanted to pick up, and I ended up settling for this one because I feel like this one had the most interesting premise about it. It's basically like something about genetics, and I'm assuming there's going to be some primate action in here. So it says, welcome to our genetic world, fast, furious, and out of control. This is not the world of the future, it's the world right now. And so yes, Next by Michael Crichton. Okay, I'm excited for that one. I'm more and more getting into my sci-fi. And then the last one for this stack is this huge guy, Chronicles of Narnia. All the original novels, all bound together. Now, did I need this? No. But I found this quite exciting. It's like this nerdy book feeling of like having all of them in one book. Even though I own many of the books from the Chronicles of Narnia, I don't think I own every single one of them, but own quite many of them. And this is one of my favorite series from childhood, and still one of my favorite series to this day. I know not a lot of people love these, but I do, and I really enjoyed these. All the symbolism in it I really liked. And so I just found it very interesting that they're all bound together. And I go through this thing every couple years where I want to reread this series. So I'm glad to have this now. I mean, it's just cool to own this. That's what I'm saying. It's almost like having a collectible type of item. And it has they probably definitely obviously printed this after the movie came out, because it has the one of the images from the movie, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Oh, it says Target here. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, and I got this, like I said, fairly cheap. Like the original price was like $16, $17, at least from this. It looks like it's been resold several times though, because there's two here. But yeah, so I'm glad to have that. All right, let's go to the next stack. And all of these I'm excited about as well. And at my Goodwill, they do like different colors on the books. And if the book that you if the color is on sale, you get like 50% off. So this time it was green. So I found quite a few books with the green stickers on them. So that was nice to have even more discount on these. I didn't pay that much for all of these books altogether. And I got like a lot of books. So the first one here in this stack is by Agatha Christie. I know she's a very popular mystery author. I've never read anything by her, but I know many of her books have been put into motion pictures and all kind of different things. This one is called Cards on the Table. And yes, it is about 4 people that get invited to play bridge, and they've all somehow gotten away with murder. But before they are even done with the game, the host ends up dead. So I'm excited for that. I love a good mystery thriller book, and I know Agatha Christie is very popular for that. So yes, I'm excited about this one. We're excited. Definitely 1937. Wow. 1936. Love it. Okay, the next books I got let's do these ones kind of together. So I got yes, so I recently purchased The Hobbit and the first one, The Fellowship of the Rings. I actually did not realize I already owned The Hobbit, which I was just telling you guys I do. So I have 2 copies of The Hobbit now, and then I got The Fellowship of the Ring, which I did not own. And then I happened to find actually both of the next books at the Goodwill. So I'm like, yay, I have the complete collection now, and now I can read the whole series, which is what I was planning to do this year. So The Lord of the Rings Part 2, The Two Towers. This one, I like the cover art on this one a little bit more than the next one, because it's just like the movie, a still of the movie just slapped on the book, which is not my favorite thing when the books do that. I don't love that. I would prefer, like, you know, drawn or art or paint, you know, something like that, or even, you know, something just a little bit more creative or interesting. This is not even that, you know, interesting, but I like it more than the other one. And obviously, you know, you guys know about The Lord of the Rings. This one is Part 2. I've never read any of these books, and that's why I'm reading them this year, but we're following I guess these hobbits, Frodo and Sam. I've never seen any of the movies either, so I really know nothing about. I just finished reading The Hobbit for March, and I really enjoyed that one, and so I'm excited to see like how the Lord of the Rings trilogy is different, or where we're going with that. I know it has to do with a ring. So yes, and then the next one, The Return of the King, which is Part 3, I'm excited to get into, and this one has like stills from it. I do like having Orlando Bloom on the book because he's so cute. But yes, all by J.R.R. Tolkien, master of fantasy there. And so I'm excited to have the next 2 books so that I can just not be worried about where I'm going to get them when I'm reading the series throughout the year. Next, I picked up another fantasy book. This one is Robert Jordan, The Eye of the World. I know this just came out with a TV series, and I know a lot of people have been talking about this one on YouTube. I've seen a lot of people make videos on these books. I know the series is also very, very long. I had never even heard of this until I got into like BookTube, and then I see that the TV series is coming out and stuff like that. So this is the book 1 of The Wheel of Time, and when I saw it on the shelf of Goodwill, I was like, I'm having a really good lucky day, because all these classical fantasy and classical books in general are just sitting here on this shelf in Goodwill. And I picked it up, and my basket kept getting fuller and fuller, and I was like, calm down. But I really wanted these books in particular because I do really love a fantasy story and a fantasy series. Now 14 books is it's pushing it, especially when like these are thick. These are thick. But yeah, I'm excited about this. I do want to read it. I know that Robert Jordan passed away before he finished the series, I believe, and Brandon Sanderson, I think, finished it, which I'm currently reading my first Brandon Sanderson book right now. Which that brings me to my next book, which doesn't have anything to do with that, but let's move on. The next one is Morning and Memories by Patricia Rice. It's just a nice romance book. I always like to pick up at least one romance, a couple romance books when I go, because they're always plentiful in the Goodwill. And yeah, this one is a historical romance, which is always my favorite type of romance to read. So yeah, we're following, I think there's a little bit of mystery in this as well. No, not a little bit of mystery, but our main male protagonist is got a bit of a sordid past. So I like those type of books where we're kind of figuring out if he's like a good guy or a bad guy, if he's dangerous, and then where the love story goes from there. So yes, and there's going to be like a bargain relationship in this as well, which I always like as well. So that's exciting. I do love a good romance. And let's get to the last two in this stack. So we have this one here, Stormfront novel in the Dresden Files. Is this the first one? I think this is the first one. I'm hoping this is the first one because it doesn't make any sense if it's not, because I've never read any of these books. I've seen these a lot as well. I don't really know what this is about. So by Jim Butcher, the Dresden Files, it says Stormfront is printed first. So I'm assuming that that's the first book. This is the first book. I'm excited about this. I've seen this book a lot, but I've not really, I don't know what it's about really. So let's look at the back here. So we got some like wizardry going on, magic. I knew it was something fantasy, so I'm excited about this as well. I got a lot of fantasy this time around. So yes, I'm excited about this because it means I'm going to be starting some series. Oh, okay, that maybe not is a good idea because I start series and I need to finish them. Okay, last book that I have here is Horns by Joe Hill. And the reason I'm excited that I got this one is because I've been wanting to read more Joe Hill after reading Nosferatu by Joe Hill last year. One of my favorite books of the entire year, and I just thought that book was just really, really, really good. Really amazing, good plot, good story, good build up, good characters, everything. And so I've been wanting to read more Joe Hill. It's actually one of my goals this year to read from more authors that I read for the first time last year and enjoyed. And Joe Hill is one of those. Some other ones include Christina Henry, which I already read another book by her. And Octavia E. Butler, which I do have another one of her books on the shelf. So I'm excited to get into this one. This one is Horns, which is also a movie. I got a lot of books that are movies or TV shows this time around as well. So that's also exciting, so that I can also react to these as well, or watch them for the first time. And as you can see, there's a shot of the movie as well, which is Daniel Radcliffe. Love him. And so yes, we're following. I think this one has to do with this man who wakes up and he has horns. He just wakes up and he has horns. And so that's a pretty good like mysterious start to a story, and a good start to or a good like little bite size, get you interested back of the book. What is this called? Blurb. Yes. Okay, let's get into the last books I bought. I feel like I've been talking forever. Okay, the last three here that I have, last four that I have are sort of for me, sort of for my niece as well, because they are all children's books. I got these, well, one of them's kind of for me, but I got these to not only have them on my shelf, but also read with her. And I bought her a couple other books that are not going to be featured in this video that she can read on her own. She's a first grader right now, so her level is not necessarily at the point where she can read a lot of these books that I have here by herself, but I did get her a couple of other books that are more on her level that I told her, take home with her. She can read them by herself, read to her mom, stuff like that. And so I'm really trying to help her to kind of foster a love for reading and also to raise up her level, because as she's going into second grade. But these ones, we do reading together, so I'll read her a chapter whenever she's here or whenever I'm like tutoring her. And so these books here, I figured we can do like reading together. So the first one I have is, and this is actually one that I was actually excited to pick up for myself as well, because I remember loving these as a kid. They're just really cool poems and drawings by Shel Silverstein, and it's Where the Sidewalk Ends. I'm sure, especially if you grew up in the late 90s, early 2000s, many of us have read this book, and Shel Silverstein is just such an interesting author. He did also like The Giving Tree as well, which I know is a very popular one as well. And I remember just really loving these as a kid. Like, they're just kind of silly, fun poems and pictures throughout the whole entire book. So I'm sure this will be really fun for my niece to read these as well. And also it'll kind of introduce her to poetry as well, because I don't think we've really done any poetry. The next book is one of the Bailey School Kids books. I just picked this up on a whim. It's got writing on it. Why do they do this? I picked this up on a whim because I figured this would be a good one for us to do chapter by chapter. And when I'm reading with her, what I'll do is I'll read some of it I'll have her sitting next to me, and then I'll, you know, pause and have her read a line or something, sound out the words, etc., and slowly trying to introduce her to chapter books. But these are the ones, kind of chapter books that are super easy. They have pictures in them. They're not long. Like this entire book is what, 66 pages. Like, so super duper easy, super easy to go through with her. And you know, put it on my shelf, although I wouldn't read this on my own, not necessarily, but I like at this point. And this is by Debbie Dadley and Marcia Thornton Jones. I also got this one. This one is more for me because I remember reading this one as a kid. The Indian in the Cupboard. No comment. But Lynn Reed Banks wrote this one, and I'm excited. I'm kind of excited to go back and kind of revisit this in a sense, because I do remember reading this one as a kid, and it's kind of like a classic one. Yes, and then last but not least, I got this collection of Goosebumps Campfire collection. I'm pretty sure I own all of the books that are featured in here, but again, I'm a sucker for this kind of strange edition of things that they've just sold for some reason. It's almost like a collectible type of item, and this one includes, like it says, the Campfire collection. So it has the Curse of the Code of Camp Cold Lake, Ghost Camp, and Welcome to Camp Nightmare. And so yeah, I just found it interesting. Like I've never seen them do one of these before, at least not that I've known. So to see it in the library, I mean not the library, to see it in the Goodwill, I was like, I have to pick this up. I have to. So yes, I got this as well, and I can also read these with my niece as well. So yes, that's all the books, you guys. I am so tired of talking. I do have 2 more books coming in from Book of the Month, my Book of the Month pick, and then another one I picked up as well. And so I'm excited to have those. If I remember, I'll pop the pictures up on the screen. But yes, so those are all the books I'm going to be picking up for right now. Like I said, I'm trying to limit myself on my spending this year, so I'm not doing too many hauls, maybe one every couple months, because I do enjoy buying books, and like I said, if I can thrift them and get them for affordable prices, then I don't see an issue with it. But yeah, so these are the ones I picked up this time. I'm really excited about this one. I need to find somewhere to put them because I have no space. I don't know why I keep doing this to myself. I even have books in storage, so I don't know why I keep buying books. So yeah, that'll be it for this video, you guys. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this, and I will check you guys out in the next video very, very soon. Stay safe. Adios.